Hello, my name is Alexandra Fahy, and my presentation paper is on exploited labor and its reality today. Although we are living in a world where there is a fight for equal pay and rights, we are not seeing it. We see these issues in the United States, but it tends to be overlooked when it comes to foreign countries. One of the countries where this issue is being seen a lot is in China, which also happens to be a hot topic in the news recently. A lot of these issues are stemming from socioeconomic issues in the market. Along with this, there's always the ongoing search for new markets, which tends to come with higher demands, which means the need for fast production. The issue that comes with this is that groups in China are trying to push out this large amount of product and are not doing it safely. There are multiple issues that are being seen in these Chinese sweatshops, but one of the most outstanding is that there is a failure to properly compensate for the work that is being done. Poor compensation is not the only issue that is being seen. Poor overall working conditions are also being seen. In a New York Times article, it discusses how work conditions are dangerous and factory workers break or even lose their fingers all the time on the job. Dangerous conditions do not just include physical dangers, but also mental and emotional abuse that comes from long hours and little pay. China is not the only place where we are seeing these poor working conditions. People can be found in poor working conditions all over the world. These conditions do not just appear out of nowhere, but are the fault of people and companies who have the power and are able to exploit desperate individuals. One of the largest factors that are contributing to the exploited labor is that there are issues when it comes to what the law is doing about it. For example, in Thailand, there are a lot of issues with the fishing industry. Law and policy makes it very difficult for law enforcement to actually catch and prosecute people abusing their power. It shouldn't be said that the law isn't doing anything about the issues, but there are a lot of loopholes that captains on these ships are finding to avoid punishment. There are issues such as forging papers and paychecks that are given to law enforcement, as well as keeping the crew with the people on the boat who are responsible for them, keeping them quiet. One major loophole as well that is being seen is the issue of international waters because it's unclear who's responsible for the ship. This allows captains to mistreat and underpay workers without getting in trouble. Higher demand for product faster is also an issue that is causing this. We see this claim being made in the Chan and Peg research article, but we also see it in the readings throughout the semester. If there is a need for product, people are willing to pay more. One of the articles that we read was the organ trafficking article, where people were desperate for money, so they would sell their organ for poor payout, while the people who were desperate for organs led to the black market trade. Increase in organ sales using the black market is very hard to regulate, let alone stop. This relates back to the issue of law and policy when trying to stop these problems because there are so many loopholes that can be found. Another example is seen in the Gangs of These Divers video. The men who are diving are working long days and putting themselves in danger because if they don't work, they don't get paid. These unethical conditions are continuing to be exploited, though, because there's such a high demand for lobster, and companies are willing to put their workers in this condition for the amount that they could be getting paid. Finally, we are seeing the exploitation of people who are desperate. A lot of these people are coming from areas of migration and war. Today, we tend to see migration and war due to migration due to war and economic unrest. In the video, The Story of Migration, we see large amounts of people are trying to get out of these war-stricken countries, which lead to them doing anything to get the money that they need to get out and start a better life. There are times that we see these people just trying to leave their countries and get aboard ships, and on these ships, they are being put in unethical work conditions just so they can leave. People in these countries are also not trying to get involved with the issues that are causing them to leave. In the masculine and migration article, we see that these are not always poor working conditions, but it is very evident that there are limited options that these people have. And so they will take anything to avoid going to war and going down a dangerous path. Although we are living in a world that is more advanced technologically than we have ever seen, we are still seeing the exploitation of individuals who are desperate by people or companies that have more power or say over them. Poor and underpaid working conditions have become a daily reality for many people because people with power are able to put workers in these poor conditions and not get caught due to loopholes in the law, as well as these people are very desperate for money and they can do what they need. From the ratings, it can be seen that there are multiple reasons that this is happening, but it is mostly due to law enforcement not being able to handle the issue properly, the increasing demand of product and the need to supply them, and the increase in migration for more as people are trying to put themselves in better situations. Thank you.